Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores, the exclusive DLC for PlayStation 5, released and instantly became controversial because so many people started having meltdown, and I didn't see this type of meltdown since The Last of Us Part 2 leaks. And this meltdown itself is actually hilarious, and to spite all these people, I decided to buy myself a DLC, and I finished it, and I actually loved it. And it gave me more fun, and I would even say this DLC is in fact better than the base game itself. So, but it's impossible to talk about this DLC right now without acknowledging the meltdown itself. The meltdown that actually caused Metacritic to introduce some changes to how they go on user reviews on their site, because so many people were listing zeros out of 10, and so yeah, there are going to be some spoilers here. I'm going to try to keep it not heavy on spoilers, but yeah. DLC itself costs like $20, and I would say it's not a bad price for this DLC. It clearly got people working on it, and to add, they didn't just add like few marks on the existing map, something that Ubisoft would do, and Horizon actually is the Ubisoft type game, but yeah, in here they actually added new region, new map that you can go explore, new quests, and Burning Shores actually picks up after Forbidden West ending, and we are tasked to track down and get rid of Walter Londra. And at the time when I was playing the game, I was like, I do know this guy from somewhere. Like, I know the actor, like I seen him somewhere, but my mind didn't connect these things. And turns out it's Sam Witwer. It's a motherfucking star killer, okay? So Aloy sets off and goes to LA, and after arrival meets Seika, and this is basically the Seika is the reason for people melting down. So they go about it. Okay, we are going to work together because we have kind of the same goal. So yeah, we are going to be allies. And Seika is actually really helpful if you play the game, because she is going to help you with the enemies. She's going to distract the enemies during the fight, or she's going to pin them down, and it's really helpful. There are also moments when she's going to, I don't know, block you and cause you to be detected by the machines because you're not going to hide behind the cover, but the good outweighs the bad in this situation. And me, as a complete idiot, I started playing this game at the level that I finished the main storyline, so it was like 30-31. This DLC requires you to be more in the brackets of 40 to 50, because most enemies in the game that you encounter are going to be 50. So the game actually wants you to kind of grind before you get to this DLC. And my idiotic ass, without proper gear, or maybe even without proper level, I started playing this. So I was forced to kind of improvise, and I found some exploits to pass some sections that I probably wasn't supposed to pass, but I managed, like this one. Shitty gear, no means to upgrade it, getting lambasted by the enemies. I had to like break the AI and climb some hill from the back and shoot the enemies from up top, and the enemies basically started spazzing out because they couldn't jump on my head and kill me with one straight jump. Later we receive a weapon that literally breaks the entire combat of the game, but and every encounter at this point is incredibly easy, but it makes game really fun. Good tip though, if you're interested in making the platinum from the base game and you want to buy this DLC, this platinum is going to be incredibly easy with this new weapon. Like this weapon is too OP. They literally like broke the combat system for this game if you're using this weapon. But let's go to the actual game. I cannot not mention that for some reason some fights were incredibly hard for me because, you know, shitty gear and under-leveled ass. But few minutes later, like after these incredibly hard for me to get through fights, we are getting a boss fight, and this boss fight basically is easy as hell, and I can't figure out what went wrong, but something is definitely wrong with the difficulty balancing. There are a couple of new enemy times that some of them, like this fucker, are incredibly frustrating. And yes, the bird, that it's also new and it flies and dives, and there's a sequence in the game which is one of the best sequences in the entire DLC. I would even argue entire game, counting both DLC and standalone base game. You actually fly and you have to dodge the attacks by diving under the water, and it was really entertaining. It was one of the best sequences in the game, and I loved it. The one problem that I had, and this happened a few times in the game, the game kind of forced me to, I don't know, die. For some reason, when I was flying the bird, I was getting shot at and I couldn't dive. Like there was a invisible wall that I couldn't pass with this bird. Like the game didn't recognize that I am actually flying this bird and not the standalone version of the bird that doesn't dive. Also, in one sequence in the last mission of the game, I was forbidden from throwing rocks or planting traps or shooting a bow. After passing through the sequence, through this one sequence, I could use the bow, but it was too late at this point. So I died and everything went back to norm. But something didn't work for me there. I was literally forbidden from using the bow. Right now we can go the meltdown. Aloy kissed. Wait, excuse me. You have a choice to kiss Seiko at the end of the game. Literally after the end of the game, you have this conversation and you can choose to kiss Seiko. And the people lost their fucking minds over it. And it's so-called propaganda pushing. And I will ask you this question, because like these people, the same people that actually cry about this right now, are going out and saying, don't switch the existing characters, just make your own, make your new game, make your own TV show, stuff like this. So I'm going to ask you, like, so what's wrong here? They created Horizon. They created second game, the same studio, the same people. They created the DLC, and throughout the two games and one DLC from the first game, the topic of her romance or sexuality was not explored at all, so they explored it here. They made a new game. They created a their own character, and you still complain. And the situation actually made Metacritic to go out and put up a statement, and that they are going to change the approach to the reviews posted by users because they are unhinged, basically blasting some slurs in the reviews, stuff like this. So they are manually going out and reviewing the reviews at this point, because so many people were so insulted. And imagine writing off the entire DLC as 0 out of 10 because there's an option. It's not mandatory, it's an option to kiss a girl. The DLC, which is actually really good and worth the price. So many people are going and bombing 0 out of 10. And I'm not going to be hiding the fact that there is definitely something also called positive review bombing, like 10 out of 10s before the game or the show even goes out. This is also bad, and this is also bad. You're doing the same thing, and the people that are really posting this picture that I'm presenting you on the screen are acting right now genuinely like this person on the picture, because there's no way. There's no other way to describe it. So I will ask you, like, can you blame Aloy? Can you actually blame Aloy? Because I can't. I can't blame Aloy. Okay, she chose. She kissed the girl and she liked it, like the song goes. So the only thing about the kiss and the whole relationship in this DLC, that it is rushed, and it probably would work within a full game in the way that this was made in this DLC, but the DLC is shorter than the main game and than the full game, forced them to rush things out, and it doesn't really feel that much of an earned. But yeah, like the rest is perfectly fine. Like it feels really rushed, but they wanted to cram it into this one DLC because they had the idea for the story, but they are not going to make it DLC basically the length of the full game. And yeah, like it's done respectfully, tastefully. All of a sudden, there's a really huge swarm of people saying that they didn't like the Horizon in the first place. Even the first game sucked. Literally the same situation that was with the Force Awakens. That after Last Jedi, everybody starts saying, I hated Force Awakens from the day one, even despite the fact that so many people loved it. I hated it from the get-go. And for my underlevel ass, like this DLC was 10 hours long. It is not like a shortest DLC, but it's not like the longest. If you're going to play it properly, if you have the proper level, you're going to spend 6 hours in the game. And yeah, the DLC is pricey because it is $20, but in my opinion, you have 6 hours of a main content plus the additional content that I started doing after completing the main storyline. So 6 hours plus the side content. And if you are weird like me and you like playing under-leveled and with the primary not upgraded gear, you're going to spend 10 hours or more because you're going to try to find exploits to even complete the game. Remember, kiss in this game is optional and nobody is forcing you to play this DLC. You can even skip this DLC and it's going to be perfectly fine. Or you can just not play the Horizon, because so many people right now say that the Horizon sucks. I love the first game. The second game, it was fine, but the DLC is definitely better than better than the second game, and I loved it, and I fully recommend this DLC. And please don't have the meltdowns. It's bad, and that's all for me. Signing out.